Welcome to Life Workshop, where we discuss the forgotten basics. The topic of this episode again is the part 3 of how do you develop an opinion. And I'm going to start again asking the question from your most favorite co-host, Bo.
Hi.
Do you know people that almost any subject you ask or you talk about, they have an opinion about?
Yep.
How do you feel about them? Do you find it smart or not so smart?
I don't know. Depends on what their answer is. Sometimes, sure, it's smart. Sometimes it's not. But that's me, again, also having an opinion and thinking that I know things too. So I don't know how to feel about that whole question, really. Like, I don't know. I mean, nobody really likes a know-it-all, but sometimes you might be the know-it-all. So I don't know how to feel.
So do you know, do you talk about, or do you have opinion about everything? If I would talk about the stars, you would have an opinion. If I would talk about economy or the war or politics.
I would have thoughts. I don't know about opinions all the time.
Because
I ask questions, but at the same time, I guess I do, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Because there was this buddy of mine, he put this thing on Facebook when Putin, that douchebag, he attacked Ukraine. He put this on Facebook. Now, I was a specialist in COVID, before that in terrorism, and now I'm a specialist in political science.
Who, you?
No, a buddy of mine.
I
had put something like that on. So because some people, they just go from one to the other, just whatever the topic is, they talk as if they know everything. Of course, to having a general view, that's another thing, which is we might have, but to develop opinions strongly is different thing. And generally, some people that, for example, they have very strong opinions almost about most of the stuff, which that questions me that how much do you know to have such a strong opinion?
Yeah.
Again, and opinions, they become, normally I say confidence comes because of these few reasons, or you know a lot, or you don't know much at all.
Yeah.
Confidence normally is one of the two reasons, and often is the second one. When people are so confident, often it is the second. I'm not saying, obviously, when you know. And, and again, if there are some that they just speak as much as they know, and that's it, and they feel comfortable there. And when they ask a question, really they ask a question with the intention to be proven wrong too. They're open with that. It's a very good way of looking at it. Ask a question and be ready to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
Or your question completely should be impartial. That you're asking a genuine question, you're looking for an answer, versus I'm looking for a specific answer.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's the whole point of asking a question, right? You can't dictate the answer that you're going to get.
Correct. But very frequently, for example, see that, hey, you like this shirt, don't you? Isn't that cool?
Whoa. It's a nice shirt.
So sometimes the questions are quite loaded that you just don't give the person a chance. You should know, some of the comments that you should know better. In plumbing, you do this. I hear that, time to time.
Did I say that to you?
No, not you, you. I'm saying for that sometimes people do that, even as a physio. You're a physio, you should know that. I didn't.
Oh, man, yeah, holy.
Sometimes it happens.
You should know this. It's a standard measurement, isn't it? I'm like, no.
Exactly. So this is, sometimes we do that. The question that you're asking is not a genuine question. It's, I'm fishing for a specific answer. And then obviously they don't become a question. So the concept of, again, having an opinion, so this opinion, sometimes they lead the conversation, they lead everything. And because of that, it's better if we, as much as possible, to have less opinion. However, this said, some people, they go on the other, as far as I'm concerned, they go too far and they have no opinions about nothing. And then they believe that everyone is entitled to their opinion. I say absolutely not. I'm not talking the legal aspect that you're entitled. To a lot of opinions are just wrong or dumb.
Sure.
Or you have no right to have an opinion. And unfortunately, sometimes, no right from a legal standpoint. Now I have to go check it too. Can I say that?
I don't think it's like that. I think you just have them. It's not like, and even saying, well, I have no opinion could be argued that that's having an opinion is having no opinion.
Okay, that becomes a bit of a philosophy. That becomes a bit.
But I know you don't like that.
Okay, then I want to keep it really simple, and life is simple. So
super complicated.
I know you're doing that, but as a matter of fact, this was a question that why. We encourage a lot of time, especially in the school system. I have heard this, and I see time that you are seeking an answer versus promoting a proper question. Mm-hmm. Really, I think in a school system or in society, if we encourage a good question more than a good answer, because when we do that, in general, what happens, people, they try to come up with an answer. And then when they do that, that answer becomes their opinion and ideas and those things that they lead towards, which closes the door for asking the next question. It closes the door for curiosity and improvement.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes too, could it be said too that sometimes when you're asking these questions and say you find something through your asking the question and going through the scientific process or whatever of observing and everything, and then you come to a conclusion, or listening to people, you come to a conclusion, and you might be afraid to say what your conclusion is because it might go against what other people are thinking.
People sometimes we want to just fit into the society, and that has become a problem. Or and again, it is as a society, as a listener, as well as a member. For example, we should be open to the listening something that we don't necessarily agree with. Mm-hmm. And then again, if possible, to question that versus to answer it as much as possible. I'm saying that myself, I should practice on that. That, by questioning, basically answer validity of somebody who provides a question. For example, I said the city of Regina in the previous podcast that I was talking about. I'm just questioning their validity, that the answer that they have. Mm-hmm. That is what I'm doing because I believe it just doesn't make sense. So the concept that we promote asking question, but then the question becomes, do we have dumb questions? The answer is...
I always heard there's no such thing as a dumb question.
Actually, there is.
I know.
Do you remember in that podcast, the one power of asking question? When I was building my house, when I built my house, a buddy of mine asked, so Mo, now that the kind of house is built, what would you do differently? Have you thought about that? I said, that was one of the dumbest questions. You're asking me to think hard to see how not to be happy with my house. So
and you said you're not building another one.
I'm not building another one.
It's not like it's a learning process.
Exactly. I don't want the learning. Actually, I prefer not to. I'm not doing anything. I cannot change it. If the question is, what would I do from now on to make it better? Sure. If your question is, have I run into something that would do differently? Then that's another question. But to sit and think about it actively, that what should I have done differently when I cannot do it, or it's a very costly process, definitely I'm not going to sit and think about that. So then another question becomes, so we have dumb questions. Then what should you do? Well, when you ask some dumb questions, again, don't stop. Ask questions, because then you start learning that how to ask a more proper question. Mm-hmm. So during this process, you will make mistakes. You will ask dumb questions, and which is cool. Mm-hmm. But again, you just learn. And of course, as the other party, we should not make them feel too dumb. Of course, that buddy of mine, I did.
Well, that line of questioning, after the fact, and you're going to question what you could have done better on something that something that you're not going to go back to try and improve on. Like say for myself, right? If I go into a job and I'm doing something right, and I think, okay, what could I have done better next time because I can improve on the next one because I'm going to be doing the same type of thing later. That's a learning process.
For you, yes.
For you to do that and to question again, then it's just creating unwanted anxiety.
Exactly.
Right? And then it's just creating a problem in your mind, and you're going to be thinking and thinking and thinking, and then your ego is going to go into the most worst possible scenario, and then you're just going to make yourself go crazy.
Actually,
so that's a bad line of thinking.
It is like when I had another podcast. I don't know how to handle mistakes. Yeah, that was the one. That when, for example, I have made a mistake and I know, I don't beat myself up on it anymore.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
I start thinking about how to solve it from now, how to handle it from now on. That's another way of looking at it. So it is like if we sit and think the mistakes that I made in my life, and if I hadn't made them, well, you made them already.
Yeah.
You should learn. Of course, if some of it is appropriate to question, to say that I don't make the same mistake, but you don't sit and beat yourself up. Oh, I should not have done that. Oh, I should. Yes. And I'm not saying, don't have regrets. That is what I'm saying. Say that, yes, I screwed up, but I'm not going to sit and cry about it, period. But did I screw up? Yes. Am I going to justify it? No. But I'm not going to sit and cry about it. Now I'm going to think how I should handle it from here. That is what I'm going to focus on thinking versus sitting and thinking about that. So the concept,
not like what if I had done this better? Yeah. Could I do that? What if this? What if that? What if, what if I didn't get my driver's license when I was 16? What would have happened then? Blah, 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 blah. That's just it's a waste of your time.
The subject now is going a little bit just.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm as guilty as you are. Of course, no, maybe you are more guilty. But
whatever. I'll just go back to making circles. It'll be fine.
But yeah, the question is that sometimes some people, they think that everybody's opinion validated. No, it's not. That is what I'm saying. It is like, for example, if I'm driving, I in my opinion, I should drive, the opposite side, or I should drive zigzag. That's not your opinion. Don't count. Just follow the rules. Period. You do that, you lose your license. You end up somewhere else. You cannot come up with your own opinions. That is what I'm trying to say. I know that, of course, now, but the driving is a bit different. It's a kind of a more exaggerated thing. But even when it comes, as I said, to how the finance in the country is run, how, I don't know, the politics is, how the thing, you can question them. Again, I keep going back to that. And I'm not saying don't question it. That's a very good thing to do. But question it in a very non-judgmental and very open-ended question that you wait really for a answer. But if the answer is not proper, you can question it more. Like what I'm doing, I believe, to the city of Regina. I'm going to be asking more questions, and I'm hoping during this process, everybody comes out of it, a bit better than before. That is really my intention. But I'm not going to sit and say that everybody's opinion counts. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Then I want to, for example.
No, hey, not everyone's opinion counts for sure.
To give us an example, for example.
Still make those. Every individual still makes opinions, right? We should just be open about them, and opinions are always things that can change based on new information that you have. You take in. They aren't finite.
This is the thing, and you're saying that you're right that we tend to have opinion about things. But and sometimes I'm wondering, where did it get started? Why didn't we learn to ask more questions instead of having more answers? Does it have something to do with the education system that we had? Something had to do with what we do ourselves? For example, that if somebody asks a question, we make fun of them rather than promote that. Or for example, if they have an answer, because you had an answer, you're so smart, Doesn't matter how stupid the answer was, but you're so smart. Use some big words that I didn't understand, but Sometimes we had a conversation about this earlier that, when some people, they use those big words and things here and there to impress others. But anyways, just in a very simplistic way, no, your opinion don't count, unless if you're educated, you have some sort of a background in it. Your questions do. as during the process of asking question, yes, we are going to screw up. We are going to have dumb questions, but that is how we learn. If somebody asks you a dumb question, don't make them feel too dumb. Just help them to make the question more proper. And in these things we run quite a bit into this stuff. Myself, for example, as a physio, when people come, and sometimes genuinely they say, I don't know how to explain it. So I help them. I help them explain it because that is my job to help them in that. And the same way, when I go, for example, myself, one thing that I said, I didn't like the proper process with the city of Regina. When I asked my question was more raw. But instead of them to come and to, help me to ask if they make a question more appropriate, they kind of used it against me, which that I didn't appreciate. I'm coming, I have a concern. You should help me to be more specific about my concern versus you use that against me. But anyways.
But those are the experts, and then you're supposed to listen to them.
Okay. I'm an expert as a physio.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come and ask a question that you don't know how to ask a question, shall I just fool you? Just give you a bullshit answer? No, I will help you. This is what I'm saying. Yes, they are experts, but
I wouldn't know if you're giving me a bullshit answer or not.
This is where I'm going with this info. That the whole idea is that as an expert, they are supposed to help me to make my question more specific and then answer it. Mm-hmm. That's what they are supposed to do. Not that if my question was more of a broad and not as appropriate, then they say, hey, you're a dumbass, you didn't know, no, I'm going to do this. They answer that way. They lose respect. Remember that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yes, they are experts, but the expert's duty is to help me be more specific and more clear and precise on the way that I'm asking and answer the question properly. Not to use it against me, using my lack of knowledge against me. In a private sector, if somebody does that, they will be out of job very quickly. But unfortunately, when it comes to some sort of a government setting or this kind of thing, I don't know, it's not government, but city, because there is no competition, they keep their jobs. That is one of the challenges that I believe is there.
So as you're saying this, right, I'm thinking about our previous things that we had talked about, right? You're talking about now the experts now have to help us, the ones who have the question, to form the proper question that we're really trying to ask, right?
That's correct.
And how they respond makes a difference, right? Like, and in the say what the COVID you're talking about, you had all these, doctors supposedly on the TV and it was saying, shut up, I'm a doctor.
They didn't say that though.
Oh, well.
And if they did,
okay.
Sure, if they did, again, it's wrong, yeah.
But there was a feeling of that, and there was some of that, right? And I know it's sensationalized from TV and all that junk, right? But there was a lot of that feeling, hey, listen to me, I'm the doctor, I'm the professional. Shut up and listen to me. And I think that doesn't help when, say, experts say things like that or do things like that. It turns a lot of people off. Like,
of course, I should say, I never ever heard any doctor or a specialist person saying that though.
Oh, I did.
Okay. But again, and if somebody did, then it's wrong. Yes. Yeah. They are supposed to help you. Again, I said, it's a matter of respect. Once I brought this up, I said, one of the things in the third world countries that they stay third world is because people, they don't respect the law. But the law should be respectful to begin with. If you have a law that is not respectful or I don't understand it, I'm not going to follow it. Mm-hmm. So, and this is my challenge for the city of Regina. Even if you think, of course, I'm going to go back to this. Some people, they challenge that, some people say, why? They just keep going back and then it becomes ridiculous. Yes, then it becomes a stupid question. At one point, you just say, shut up and just follow. I agree with that too. But what is that point? Again, yes, when people ask question, the specialist in the field, the other party should sharpen the question, because by sharpening the question itself is an education, by the way. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards answer the exact question, not anything else, not beating around the bush, which unfortunately I understand very frequently that happens. So because of that, we want to be very clear, to the point. So again, if we encourage asking question and we help the person to sharpen their question, that would be, I would say, one of the ways. Versus, I normally say that a dumb question, I prefer a dumb question than a smart assumption. Mm-hmm. Because a dumb question, again, somehow you will help them to make it a smart question. Or they learn that it was a dumb question to begin with, don't ask it next time. Or then you differentiate between the two. But a smart assumption, it's an assumption.
Yeah.
And then that encourages the behavior of assuming. Of course, now it's a little bit off the thing. But the concept of, again, having an opinion versus, yes, we should not develop opinion as easy. The second thing, no, we need some opinions. At one point, we do, not that every opinion counts, not at all. Not that, I respect everybody for their opinion. No, actually, I don't. Some people, if they have dumb opinions, I don't respect them anymore. No, because it shows.
I mean, that's going a little too far.
No, it is not. It's not. For example,
it totally is.
The opinion.
You don't have to respect their opinion, but you can still respect the person.
Actually,
just their opinion on one topic.
So I'm going to bring this up. In opinion of Putin, he should just go invade Ukraine. Would you respect Putin? The same way that George Bush went to Iraq, would you respect George Bush? No. The same way that Osama bin Laden, attacked you. Do you respect that? It was their opinion. So I bring an extreme version because I have no respect for all of them.
Sensationalize.
No. I expect an extreme example to make my point that some of the opinions are not respectful. That's what I'm saying. And yes, it reflects on the person, and the person will lose the respect. When I respect somebody, I pay attention to them, I listen to them. But when somebody is not respectful, they have a lot of things, then their value will go down. That's what I'm trying to say.
Maybe their value might go down, but just because they make, and so in something, they're maybe very, very smart and have good opinions, say they're an expert in their field and whatever.
Then I will listen to that one only.
But then they'll be stupid in some other way and have a bad opinion somewhere else. Now all of a sudden you don't respect them anymore and get out of here. Like, that's not okay. Come on, you're dealing in absolutes, and
okay,
only Sith deal in absolutes.
Okay, we will leave it to there. But anyway, at the end of the day, again, yes, we want to have less opinions, more questions. We want to have less answers, and again, more questions. We want to really encourage people and ourselves, practice asking a lot of questions. If there are dumb questions, yes, there are. We try to learn from them and not to repeat them as much. Mm-hmm. And that if somebody asks a dumb question, we want to just try to help them, or immature question, I should say. We want to help them to mature the question, and that process is a learning. And to be honest, I learned that quite a bit in the Western countries, I should say. Even lots of questions that when it comes to even our college of physiotherapy, sometimes they send question. The question itself is educational. So whoever is doing it is doing a great job, I should say. So they ask questions that you have to answer, but already that is making you smarter. So a lot of proper question, and we should really encourage those kind of behaviors. But anyway, I think, again, this would become a bit the shortest version of the podcast for the past. All this, how do you develop opinion thing, which I'm glad. Let's not make it longer. But anyway, I hope that you find this helpful. And again, I would love to hear your thoughts, not opinions. Your feedback, and if there is anything that you can improve on, I would be more than happy to hear. Again, don't forget, life is simple. We make it complicated, and we can simplify it by having less opinion and more questions. Have a good one all. Okay.
Bye.
Bye now.